Boxing Truth here. Had to say a few things about Terence Bud Crawford. Currently holds the WO junior welterweight belt, 140 pounds. And I got to get on this guy because, I don't know, to me, he's being really overhyped by HBO. He's very overrated right now because he's done very little in terms of opposition that he's beaten. Now, look, I'm not saying he's a bad fighter. I actually think he's an exceptional fighter. I think he's a very good fighter. I think he's one of the best young American fighters out there. However, that resume of his is just too damn thin. I mean, it's pretty weak. I mean, like, you look at his record and you see the names. I mean, who's he beat? Everybody's telling me how great he is and that he's pound for pound, and the guy's done very little in the opposition he's beaten. Yeah, I could see with the eye test he's very good. He's got skills, but he's another fighter that needs to step up in 2016. It's time to fight some names. It's time to fight some competition. You know, this was a lost year for Terence Crawford in 2015. Fought two very safe opponents. Thomas Delorme, very, very flawed fighter. Very beatable guy, weak chin. He looked very impressive dispatching him. He destroyed him. He did what he was supposed to do, so I give him credit for that. And then he disappoints and fights Derry John, his last fight, who's a lightweight, and that's just not that's a step backwards. He shouldn't be fighting lightweights at 140 pounds. It's time for him to step up. So I'm still waiting to see a lot more from Terence Crawford. I can't say that he's pound for pound. I'm sorry. It's pretty sad when Al Haymon fighters have a better resume than Terence Crawford. I mean, y'all really can't argue with me about that. I mean, Danny Garcia has a better resume. Everybody calls him a cherry picker, and yet you look at the names, you compare them, you compare the caliber of fighters. Danny Garcia trumps Terence Crawford's resume. Freaking Amir Khan has a better resume. Lamont Peterson has a better resume than Terence Crawford. So I don't know what's up with Terence, because it's unusual for a top-ranked fighter to have this weak of a resume. I mean, Bob Arum always is willing to match his fighters tough. He's shown that plenty of times in the past. But, his manager, Crawford's manager, Cameron Duncan, just is not pulling the trigger with these matchups. It looks like Crawford's going to return in February or March. He's going to headline with Verdejo in New York. He's going to be the main event, most likely, and there's still no opponent. However, we won't really know for sure if Crawford's fighting on that date. It looks like Crawford's out of the running for Manny Pacquiao, but we won't really know for sure until they make an announcement for Crawford's next date, which seems is going to be in the early part of 2016. I'm hoping for a respectable opponent, somebody better than Delorme, somebody better than John. I'm hearing the name Benavidez has came up, but I doubt HBO is gonna be relying on Benavidez to make the 140-pound weight class. He couldn't even make welterweight limit his last fight, so he's possibly not gonna get that fight. There was some other names being mentioned. I mean, Mauricio Herrera, Maestro would be decent. I mean, I would. It's an upgrade. It's a better fight than Derry John. But I want to see Terence Crawford tested. I want to see if he's the real deal. I want to see him fight Victor Postol. I want to see him fight Matisse. I want to see him fight Pervanikov. And I'm not trashing Terence Crawford. He's a good fighter, but just a very overhyped. Like, fans need to relax on this kid. let us prove that he's one of the best fighters out there. Because with that resume, he hasn't. I mean, what are you gonna throw at me? Yuriorkis Gamboa is the best fighter he beat. He's a blown up featherweight, coming off a year and a half layoff, coming into that fight, and Terence still had trouble with him. Got outboxed for a few rounds, and even got rocked pretty bad in the ninth, but came back. He got a little dog in him, but hopefully Terence Crawford will get a big fight in 2016. I'm hoping Cameron Duncan stops protecting him, puts him in there with Viktor Postol. Those are the two best fighters in the division. Hopefully that fight will happen in late 2016. That is a pick-em fight. I have no idea who wins that. Postol is dangerous. He's very well conditioned, very lanky, tall, can box, throws a lot of punches, and he's got late knockout power. He can stop you in the later rounds. So it's a dangerous fight for Crawford, but let's see what he got. Boxing Truth. I'm out.